Welcome to the Kind of Funny Gamescast for Friday, May 9th, 2025. You're probably wondering where Games Daily is.
Whoa.
There's not one.
That's it.
There's no news today. There's no news today. I'm Andy Cortez. I'm joined by Blessing Adeoye Jr., Roger Percorni, and Paris Lilly.
Good day, Andy.
Good day.
Good day, Andy.
How's it going?
I'm doing great. Paris,
Good
how you
morning,
doing?
everyone. I'm good. How you doing?
I'm excited to talk about cool video games with everybody. This is the Kind of Funny Gamescast each and every weekday. We get together to talk about the biggest reviews, previews, and topics in video games live on YouTube, Twitch, and podcast services around the globe.
You keep it tight, Andy.
Yeah.
That's what I like
Keep it
about
tight,
you.
Andy.
You
I'm
keep it
trying
tight.
to. I mean,
I had a whole bit going on. I was excited for it.
If
but,
it's Games Daily, I'll talk to you about volleyball.
Yeah, that's true.
But, this is a review. We got important stuff
We got to
going
get to
on.
Doom the Dark Ages.
Yeah. If you love what we do, support us with the Kind of Funny membership on Patreon, YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts to get all of our shows ad-free, watch us record them live, and get a daily exclusive show. For a chance to be a part of the show, submit your thoughts and opinions as YouTube super chats as we go. Send in your biggest questions for Doom the Dark Ages, and we'll try to answer them today. Had the doc wrong. You see that? You see that? Oh, what?
No, I'm like...
Oh, great comment?
I'm like, no, it's a chat being mean to Roger.
Yeah, there's no reason.
I'm betting all 8s and 9s and Roger being wrong. It's like, that's so fucked up.
Fuck y'all.
It's funny because usually I'm the butt of that joke.
No, they've now shift blame to
They've
me
now
now. I'm the new
shifted
guy.
over to Roger.
I'm the new guy.
It is always the new guy.
The
I'm sorry,
roast,
Roger.
the roast. Everybody, this is a big, momentous day in Kind of Funny history, okay? You are about to witness history.
Oh, shit.
As SnowBikeMike, the most athletic person living in his apartment, maybe, is embarking on the most daring quest yet with Roger Percorni. SnowBikeMike will be walking a literal marathon, step for step, with Sam Porter Bridges.
Yep.
A big, big stream today, Roger. Do you want to give us a tease at all?
Yeah, we got a lot of liquids. We got a baby in a jar. We're going to fill it with liquid. We're very excited about this. And we're going to be walking, again, with every single step that Sam Porter Bridges makes in the game. SnowBikeMike will take that same exact step. So we're going to be trying to go the entire weekend.
How's he doing so?
What do you mean?
How's he stepping?
Yeah, on a treadmill.
Got
on
a little treadmill.
On a treadmill. And we also have, I believe, some type of climber, like step climber he has. And then also, if this treadmill breaks, we will come to your house and take your walking pad at 1 a.m.
Is there a plan for this treadmill after this stream?
It is Lanza's.
Damn it.
So it's
Okay.
going right back there. Yeah. You're trying to take the treadmill.
I kind of wanted it.
You're trying to take the treadmill.
It's okay.
No. So it's very exciting. And we're very nervous for SnowBikeMike and his body because he did say that he was supposed to be on this podcast today. But he's like, no, I got to stretch. That's a lie. He's not going to stretch. There's no way he's going to stretch.
He's going to stretch for 2 hours.
Yeah, there's no shot. So pray for him and watch us live all weekend, hopefully. We're going to try to finish this game by hopefully Kind of Funny Games Daily on Monday.
Beautiful.
We'll see how this goes.
Can't wait. Can't wait to see the shenanigans. Tune in live on Twitch. Twitch only, correct?
Yes, Twitch only.
Because of the whole YouTube. If you go longer, you have to create a new event. It's annoying. We're an 11-person business, all about live talk. Just go ahead, Bears.
Yeah, I actually have a little bit of housekeeping.
Please do. Go
I
ahead.
love this.
Greg's not here, but Blessing, you are.
Mm-hmm.
Twice now in KFGD, I have caught in strays over some Xbox stuff where you two mocked me. Don't think I don't see it.
No.
I just want to say that.
You talking about me? I don't say
I've
anything.
never
Andy
done
does.
It's Blessing and Greg.
But Andy
Like
does
the other day.
Andy does the Parris voice too, and he does it actually well.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the problem, is that me and Greg do a very bad job of it. So it's funny because we're like, "Oh, this is a terrible Parris impression." Andy,
I got the range.
Andy has the range. He can actually get deep.
Point blank, period.
Wow.
Nailed it. I fucking crushed that one.
You did.
Right there.
Yeah, you actually did. That is
Has he
absolutely
ever
something I
said
would
point
say.
blank period? Was that a thing?
I've
do.
heard him
I
say
say
it
it a lot,
twice,
actually.
and I was like, that's his thing now to me.
Oh, okay,
It may
okay.
not be, but to me it is. Because I heard him
love
say
that.
it twice. We're an 11-person business, all about live talk shows. After Gamescast is the third episode of our limited series. This is the Elder Scrolls Online show. Tune into that if you care about game development, if you care about game devs talking about the trials, tribulations, successes, everything that goes into making a video game. And this episode especially is what was cut from the Elder Scrolls Online video game, which that's always my favorite thing to ask devs whenever we talk to them. And it's always kind of a dicey thing because you risk the devs pissing off fans and stuff like that. So
They go in depth with it. It's really good.
I try not to get into hot water there. Remember, if you're a Kind of Funny member, today's Gregway is Roger with a little daily Doom the Dark Ages journal, just like Blessy did with his Death Stranding 2.
Yeah,
Look
back
at
to
you
back.
Stealing my shine.
Yeah, stealing your shine right here. So I think it's 50 minutes or something like that of me. Every single time I've played the game, I pull out my camera and I would just talk about it and how my opinion has changed all the way up until this review.
Can I say that's such a good value?
Yeah.
If you're on Patreon, if you're a Kind of Funny member, right? Like 2 back-to-back days of hour-long unique content of, both me doing the Death Stranding 2 thing, Roger doing the Doom the Dark Ages thing. That's a lot of content.
That's what happens when Greg's not here. You know what I mean? Come on.
Come on.
Today, thank you to our Patreon producers, Carl Jacobs, Omega Buster, and Delaney Twining. Today, we're brought to you by Imperial, Aura Frames, and BetterHelp, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's start with topic of the show. Doom the Dark Ages, a prequel to the critically acclaimed Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal that tells an epic cinematic story of the Doomslayer's rage. Players will step into the blood-stained boots of the Doomslayer in this never-before-seen dark and sinister medieval war against hell. I mean, it just sets the stage right there. This is the sequel, or the prequel, but a sequel. Already sitting at 85 on Metacritic right now.
Wow.
This is obviously Doom Eternal came out in 2020. In 2020, Kevin, can you bring up the video for our first ever piece of pandemic content?
Oh, yeah.
Yo, what's up? Welcome to Kind of Funny
Wow,
Gamescast.
it was
Doom
all
Eternal
audio.
review. I'm one
Only
of your hosts,
audio.
Blessing
We didn't have
Adioli.
video for this?
Didn't have video. We didn't think it was going to last long.
I also pushed that we could do video, and everyone was like, "No, it's too much."
We were like,
Too much."
we don't need to do that. Don't worry about
I'm
it.
like, we
Let's
can
just-
do it. I have the technology, and they were like, "No, no, it's
Yeah.
No, we won't need
can't
that
do it."
technology
This was-
for 4 years.
This was March. This was March 2020.
Just listen to the audio quality, though. Like, the audio quality is good.
Sounds
I feel like
great.
once you added video, then
Man.
you're pulling it off of Discord.
I'll tell you what. 3 years in the pandemic, I'm like, our audio quality is still
neighbors
better than
were
all of
always trying to
ESPN's
say
audio.
I'm-
It's ridiculous. ESPN was like took a long time to catch up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a weird little kind of look back at. Holy shit, we've been doing this for quite some time. Nick Scarpino was on that review with us.
Yep.
That's when he was like only 48 or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Time really
I had
flies
just
by.
gotten hired like a couple months before that.
Yeah. Very,
And I
very
remember,
wild.
like, I think I over-yapped during that review, and I remember reading comments being like, Bless, you gotta let other people talk.
So Doom Eternal was an 89 on OpenCritic, Doom 2016 an 86 on OpenCritic, and this is the more modernized Doom the Dark Ages, running on id Tech 8, the brand new engine that they have over there at id. I'd like to get everybody's kind of quick thoughts. Quick little, just give me a couple sentence summary with your review score. If you've beaten it, how long did it take you? I know that this game is very much a chapter by chapter type game. It tells you how many chapters there are. I'd rather not us say how many chapters there are for people that don't know, because if you're...
I mean, it tells you in the game. It's like you're on this chapter of this many.
It gives you the actual number.
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't realize that.
That's how I
Okay.
Yeah, it
tracked
actually
how
does.
close I was.
It
Okay.
does. Mhm.
All right. Well, fuck it.
Fuck my idea.
Whatever. I didn't want to be like, well, we're on chapter 20, and somebody be like, oh man, that means
People are saying don't say it. One person said don't say it.
Okay.
That's whatever.
Yeah, just don't say it. Just don't say it. But how long did it take you if you've beaten it? What did you play on? And what score would you give it on the Kind of Funny score? Roger, I'll start with you.
Hi. I finished the game, so I won't say the chapter thing. I don't know how many hours. It doesn't say. I was looking at like the chapter ending thing, and I don't think it says like how many hours I put into it or whatever. But
What did you play on?
PS5. I played on
okay.
PS5, base PS5. And I really, really dug this game. I was a huge fan of Doom 2016. It's one of my favorite video games of all time. Doom Eternal, a little bit of a step back for me, even though it is a step forward in a lot of ways. It just got a little too complicated with the gameplay. I was managing too many systems, dealing with too many, the ammo, shooting off the top of the one enemy, switching weapons. It was just a lot for me to focus on, and I just didn't have as much fun. And also the parkouring of it wasn't necessarily my thing. I had some fun elements with it, but it wasn't my jam. So going into Doom the Dark Ages and stripping all of that back and focusing on the ground Doom Slayer running around and just parrying things and with the shield, it feels heavier, it feels better, and it also feels way more streamlined. I'm interested to see what the rest of the Doom community is going to think, especially the Doom Eternal people, because it feels like a step back a little bit because there is no double jump, there is no dash, there is a focus on streamlining these systems, specifically when it comes to your health and your ammo. You are able to get health and ammo pretty frequently in this game. You don't really have to deal with, the chainsaw or different elements. You can just kind of go in there and beat the game and feel like you are constantly getting ammo and replenishing it. You don't have to worry about the chainsaw or whatever. With all that aside, I really, really dug this game. This is probably the best out of the three in terms of like the gameplay and the way that it feels. And this is my perfect middle ground. I don't love the story though. The story is like the big negative that is keeping that from an amazing score. But if I were to give a score right now, I would say it's an 8.5. Really great.
Blessing out of you, Junior.
For this, there's a comparison I want to make that's going to be a little bit wacky, but stick with me, right?
I'll stick with you, Big Dog.
If you know me, I grew up in Illinois, and I remember like my first time I had deep dish pizza.
Oh, that was gonna be a Michael Jordan reference.
No, I remember when Michael Jordan joined the Bulls. No, I remember my first time I had deep dish pizza because my best friend Abby at the time, right? Her mom made it homemade, and I ate it, and I was like, man, this is some of the best food I've ever had in my life. Deep dish pizza is blowing my mind, and for me, that was Doom 2016. Doom 2016 was the first time I had deep dish pizza, where I was like, oh, y'all have something here. Oh, this is a magical.
You're onto something.
You're onto something. Like this is a special experience right here, right? Deep dish pizza for me is something that you cannot have all the time. It is something that I have every once in a while, right? And like I remember my second time having deep dish was like at Giordano's or whatever, right? And like I remember I went to Chicago a few months ago for MagicCon with Mike, and me and him went to, I think it was Giordano's that we went to. It was either that or the other spot. Chat, let me know the other spots in Chicago that you go for deep dish. But it was one of those things where the more I have it, the more I'm like, all right, I love this. It's more deep dish pizza, but it's not as special as that first time for me. And that's kind of where I'm at with Doom the Dark Ages, where, it's been every about 4-5 years that we're getting a new Doom game now. And the formula, the structure, like the core ideas of it stay the same. And so as I'm playing Doom the Dark Ages, I'm like, oh, this is fun. This is what I want. In a lot of ways, this is comforting. Like, I'm having a really good time with this game, but at the same time, it's not blowing my mind like that first time I jumped into Doom 2016, and I was like, oh, you guys, like, redefined what this is in a way that really made me fall in love with Doom, which is kind of crazy when you think about, like, the legacy of Doom and how far back Doom goes. Doom Eternal, like Roger was talking about, right, added this mobility to it, added the air dash, added these things that had you, like, moving around the map a bit quicker. Doom the Dark Ages, the thing that it does different is it grounds you a bit more. It turns you into a tank. I like that one of the first things that happens when you start off the game is that you get dropped from a tall distance, you land, and like all of the enemies fucking die around you. Like you have like this shockwave, and they keep that through the rest of the game where if you jump from a tall distance and land, like all the enemies around, all the fodder enemies around you will die. Like, they really do a good job of characterizing you as a tank, right? You have the shield that you're using to stand your ground and parry. They don't have a dash in this game. They have like an R3 run, which I believe is new for this game. Yes. I don't remember that being in Doom, right?
Yeah, it's not in Doom Eternal.
Exactly. And so like, I like the ways in which they're finding ways to make it slightly different, but at the end of the day, I think by the time I finished this game, because I beat this game, I don't know if I said that before. By the time I finished it, I was like, all right, I don't know if I'm going to be thinking about this game that heavily toward end of the year or years from now as like a monumental experience that I had. But if you're somebody who loves Doom, if you're somebody who's looking for more of that experience, I think it gets the job done in a really good way. If I'm giving it a score, I'll give it an 8 out of 10.
Parris Lily, what about you?
So for me, I wasn't necessarily a big Doom guy back in the day, right? So when 2016 and then Eternal came in, I gave him a shot. I honestly felt Eternal got a little overly complicated from what I wanted from it, right? So going into Dark Ages, and Blessing and Roger have already touched on this, I feel like they streamlined it a lot more. And I think the thing that they've done with this is they've made it more welcoming to a more casual audience, to someone that isn't familiar with Doom, so you can kind of ease your way in, because I love how you can customize the difficulty in this depending on what it is that you're trying to do. So I just played this on just a standard difficulty. I didn't tweak or modify anything beyond that. Oh, and I played this on PC, and I actually have no idea how long it took me. I would guess anywhere between 15 to 17 hours, something like that. I really enjoyed it. I really did. I felt this being more grounded, and like you're saying, Doomslayer's more like a tank now, instead of trying to have him flip and fly all through the air and do all this crazy stuff, is what I wanted from it. I wanted to get a bunch of cool guns, get that freaking shield, and just slay demons. And that's what I got to do in it. I enjoyed the music in it as well. I think from a visual standpoint, it looks fantastic on id Tech 8. They really did their thing when it came to that. This was a lot of fun to me. The story was a story. Honestly, I'm just killing stuff. It didn't really matter to me about the story, but I really liked it. I'm gonna go score a little bit higher than the other two. I'm gonna say a 9, because I think this is just a first-person campaign shooter, and that's all it's trying to be. It's not trying to be anything else beyond that, but it's a lot of gosh darn fun. And I also think there's replayability in this, believe it or not, because there's all the secret areas and things that you can go back and try and get, because when you do get to the end of a chapter, it gives you the percentage of everything that you've done in that chapter. So that does compel me to want to go back and see if I can 100% everything, not to mention all the difficulty stuff. So you can ramp up the difficulty in this. And I'm sure we'll get into that as we talk about this more. But I can't even imagine what nightmare difficulty's like on this thing. So I definitely want to go back and check that out, too.
Andy.
Thanks, guys. I didn't know you wanted to know my thoughts so much. I have not beaten it. I'm about 13 and a half or 14 hours in, something like that. I'm right kind of near the end, though. And I love this game. I love that in an era where a lot of studios and publishers are chasing the games as a service thing still, or what's the best way to monetize, blah, blah, blah. This is just let's just give you a sick-ass shooter with awesome action, with fun mechanics. Random boss fights that kind of pop up out of nowhere. They're kind of like, oh shit, I'm excited to kind of take this on, with a lot of different levels of difficulty and customization. And I enjoyed that whenever I had an issue with something, there was always an accessibility option that allowed me to tweak things. While I'm playing the game, I'm trying to play on one of the harder difficulties. I'm getting my ass whooped. I'm always getting shot from angles I can't see, and I'm like, fuck, man. Like I know I could be better if I just saw where that was coming from. Maybe I could dodge it, jump over the projectile or whatever. And then I looked in the accessibility settings, and there's an option to turn on like directional wherever you're getting shot from.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that would have changed my life.
And it made me enjoy the game so much more to know that I'm dealing with this big fucker, and I know there's a lot of smaller dudes kind of trying to catch up to me.
Yeah.
And I don't know how close they are, though, but those, the directional things really help out a lot. Another thing that I remember when I previewed it, and Blessing was watching, we were all watching the trailer, and one of Blessing's criticism was that whenever somebody is parryable, they get outlined in a very, very purple, bright outline sort of look. And that's obviously good for people who want the big notification, but sometimes it's a little too much of an outline and it's a little too bright. And the option is there to turn that off. And I turned that off, and I enjoyed it a lot more as well, because you only see the button prompts pop up to go kind of in for the finisher attack. I think this game is like immaculately paced. I'm so blown away by how quickly you're getting in and out of the action, and how they're kind of breaking up any sections that may start to feel monotonous. I think they do a really good job of kind of ending levels where you think they should end before they kind of go on a little bit too long. Or if you've seen the previews at all, when you ride the dragon or when you do other sections, everything is like just as long as it needs to be, which is, I think, awesome, at least in my opinion. That's how I felt. I never felt like any one section kind of dragged on too long. I enjoyed all the weapons. When I previewed it, I wasn't really blown away visually, because I think id Tech has always been amazing, and they have always looked so far ahead of their time. And so when I played it at the preview event, I was like, it looks awesome, but it doesn't look like what I thought the next generation of id Tech would be. and I was so fucking wrong. I don't know if maybe
Really?
I guess we were just playing on another build or something, but I played on like the highest settings possible, and I was just blown away by all of the lighting details, by all of the breakable objects that are still casting shadows, and like the amount of tech going into this really, really blew me away. I love the visuals, I love the lighting, and I love the fun of it. I think it's just a straight up fun ass shooter. If you're looking for something to just like turn your mind off, and you kind of will, because the story is whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of a bummer, because during the preview they were really kind of pumped about, look, you're not just kind of like experiencing things through little vignettes. We're giving you narrative. We're giving you
You're not
story.
finding everything through codex anymore. You're going through here. We're actually going to do cutscenes that are going to bookend every chapter. We're going to make this a big thing.
And they were awesome to look at. They were hype with
Sure.
the content of them were cool, but I didn't care about what the things were being said or the sort of
different
the
makers.
antagonist. Yeah, like I loved seeing what was happening because it looked visually impressive, and I get pumped up whenever the Doomsayer's just looking at something and throws his arm out and the shield goes to his arm. Like it's just it's just stuff to get stupid hype over, but it was nothing that I ever made me go, ooh, I wonder what the antagonist is going to do next.
It's a weird one, right? Because it's a prequel, and it feels like it is trying to capture a new audience or people that haven't played the other Doom games. But the story is so in the weeds, like, you know what I mean? Like there's no, it doesn't feel like from the beginning of it, it's like, here's what's going on. Here's kind of the vibe of all these characters. It just kind of feels like you're in this world now, and there's no way to jump on to any of it. I don't know, like it did not feel, it felt like intrusive in some moments. Not too obtrusive, right? Because it's like 2-minute cutscenes per chapter. You can easily skip those things. But it just felt like a weird choice with what they're going for when it comes to the gameplay and making this such an easy experience for everybody to have like this very in the weeds whatever story that's so I'm sure the nerds, the really big Doom nerds are gonna love this stuff. But for me, I was waiting for the moment of like, oh, everything's gonna change. This is gonna connect to this thing, and I was like, no. It's just by the ending of it, I was like, it's whatever.
I even had some moments of surprise and shock in Warhammer Space Marine 2. Yeah. Where I'm like, whoa, I didn't expect that plot twist. And here, it's just like, I haven't gotten there yet. I'm not quite done with the game yet, but I still love the cutscenes because I think everything they're doing on a technical level is just so freaking impressive. And we don't talk about id Tech 8 or id Tech enough. I know like Decima's always the one we always talk about. id Tech is like so efficient, and it runs so well, and it looks amazing. Go ahead, Bless.
Wait, did you play on PC?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was gonna go where you're gonna go.
Yeah, because I wasn't actually blown away as much. Parris, were you about to say something?
No, I was going to echo what Andy said, because I played on PC as well. And I mean, playing at Ultra with ray tracing, all the reflections, global illuminating. I mean, it was stunning. Amazing. Really did. So it is interesting that you on console, it wasn't as impressive, because I was blown away by Tech 8. I thought it was fantastic.
It ran really well on a base PS5, right? I mean, it runs 60 FPS, or at least to my eyes, 60 FPS. It's super smooth. But this is the first time where I played a Doom game or an id Tech game where I was like, oh, it felt like the entire industry caught up. You know what I mean? Like they finally caught up to where they are, and now Doom feels good. It looks great. It looks amazing, but like it doesn't feel like a standout in the competitor field of everything that's going on. So it didn't look bad at all, but it wasn't like a standout for me where the other Doom games were a standout every single time.
And I mean, to compliment it though, right? Like I think the thing that did stand out to me in terms of what they're doing with the power of the consoles is how much is going on screen at any time. Like the amount of enemies that they're throwing at you. This feels like the most enemies that you have on screen out of any Doom game so far. In fact,
massive encounters.
While playing this game halfway through, I was like, I gotta boot up Doom 2016 to compare and contrast. And it was funny because I looked it up on my PlayStation, and I was like, fuck, I own this game physically. Do I still own this game? Like, do I still have the disc? And I went and I dug out my Doom 2016 disc, put it in, and like, yeah, it's crazy, the jump in terms of like how massive the battles feel this time around versus previous Dooms, which I think really enhances it, and also the level of destruction that you're having on enemies, because I think they introduced this quite a bit in Doom Eternal as far as how
the degradation,
how enemies will degrade as you're shooting them down, and here it's the same thing. One of my favorite enemies was I forget the name of it, but it was an enemy that would ride around on like their mount.
Yes, and, I love killing that
you would fight
motherfucker.
them, and like you would have to take out the guy for like you would get essentially two like glory kill prompts, right? One for the guy that's on the mount, like halfway through killing him, you would take him out, and then it's okay. Now you're just fighting the beast, and then you have to take out the beast. Like that type of shit is where this game exceeds, right? And like I think for me that's where I come around on, man, for me this is such good comfort food, and it's such good like just pure mindless fun.
I was just smiling like the whole time. I
Yeah.
just had a great time with it. I don't know if I would give it a score yet. I'd probably like it'd be between 8.5 and 9 for me because I'm still so blown away by the fact that I think Roger makes a great point that the industry caught up, and that's something that I was always kind of worried about, man. There have been so many amazing indie games that have come out that look fantastic and play amazing.
Witchfire.
Dude, Witchfire, even this Voidbreaker demo that I can't freaking wait to come out when the early access hits. There's so many awesome stuff that indie devs, or I guess still indie devs, but people from certain studios that break off and make their own thing. There's a lot of amazing video games out there, and how can this powerhouse still kind of prove to us that no, well, we're still Doom. Like, don't get it mistaken,
Yeah.
And I think that they did that, and I had so much fun with my time. It'd be between an 8.5 and a 9 for now. I once I beat the game, I'll have a better decision there. But I'd love to keep talking about this game a little bit more right after a word from our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by Empyreal. We've told you all how important it is to developers to wishlist games that you're interested in. So if this sounds cool to you, make sure you wishlist it. Empyreal is a complex, feature-rich action RPG where you'll be sent to a planet in a far-off corner of the galaxy to explore an imposing monolith. As an elite mercenary, you'll join the expedition tasked with unearthing the secrets of the monolith and face off against the deadly automatons within. In Empyreal, you'll explore 4 vastly different quadrants of the monolith, accessible only by using mysterious artifacts known as cartograms. Each cartogram affects which enemies, boss fights, and loot will appear when you enter the monolith, so no 2 excursions will be the same. Find even more cartograms to explore by looting defeated enemies or buy them from other players online at the trading post. Empyreal features 3 weapon archetypes: the fast-paced acrobatic glaive, the defense-focused mace and shield, or the devastating cannon, with a range of customizable skills and abilities that can make short work of the awaiting automatons. Your weapons and abilities can be changed before any excursion into a cartogram, so if a loadout isn't working for you, you can mix things up to create the perfect playstyle. Help the members of the expedition in deep branching quests and aid other players in asynchronous multiplayer. Get ready, mercenaries. The monolith awaits. Empyreal is available May 8th on PC, Xbox Series X and S, and PS5. Wishlist now. It helps so much. Wishlist Empyreal.
This episode is brought to you by Aura Frames. If you haven't called your mom in a while, here is your reminder to do it. But then you want to go above and beyond. Mother's Day is coming up, and I have the perfect gift idea. Aura Frames are incredibly smart and easy to use, allowing you to upload unlimited photos and videos directly from your phone to the frame. Plus, you can order the frame online and preload it with photos and videos using the Aura app, so it's ready to go right out of the box. It's a gift so special, they'll use it every day. Greg, Kevin, and a ton of people here at Kinda Funny are obsessed with their Aura frames. It takes about 2 minutes to set up a frame using the Aura app. So the next time you need to call your mom, you could also send her a new pic of you from that trip you're telling her all about. Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day. For a limited time, listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off plus free shipping on their best-selling Carver matte frame. That's AURA frames.com, promo code Kinda Funny. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. It's super great that mental health awareness is growing, but there's still progress to be made. 26% of Americans who participated in a recent survey say they have avoided seeking mental health support due to fear of judgment. We can do better. No reason for fear. BetterHelp has over 10 years of experience matching people with the right therapist from their diverse network of more than 30,000 licensed therapists with a wide range of specialties. Some of my best friends use BetterHelp and love how helpful it can be for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. It isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. We're all better with help. Visit betterhelp.com/kindafunny to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/kindafunny. BetterHelp.com/kindafunny.
And we're back to get into the nitty gritty. And there's a lot of things that we can kind of go into right now. And the first thing I want to touch on, because I would like to get some of the more negatives out of the way. Whenever it happens all the time with the Gamescast, man, I love this game. This is an 8. Man, I love this game. This is a 9. Easiest recommendation I can make this year.
For an hour.
And then we talk,
Expedition.
and then we sort of shit on it for a while.
Shit on Expedition.
But it comes from
No,
love.
it was just the map. We're talking about the map. for a
Oh,
while.
well, that's yeah. You guys are right. The map fucking. Oh,
It comes
don't
from a
get
place of love. You know what I mean? It's
Yes.
always like, man, this game could have been perfect if this or
But
if
also,
that.
this game is like it is such an iterative game, right? That it feels like it is like the negatives like pop out because
Yeah.
the game is so fucking good.
It's like we've
and
done this so
We've
much.
talked about it for so much that the negatives pop up. But yes, we should get the negatives out before we start talking about all positives.
And you know, I'm kind of worried about even talking about this negative because I know that it will really kind of start fires for a lot of people because we know that Mick Gordon and Doom Eternal and that whole issue and him, you know, a
not working
lot
on
of
this
drama,
project.
a lot of bad stuff, right? And the audio in this game and the music in this game, first off, the music kicks ass. I think the audio mixing in this game is real bad. And it took every other level. I'm raising the volume of the music because it's way too quiet, and then some of the shooting is like getting it's clashing with each other. It's kind of like, oh, that doesn't sound very good. Like there was a lot of moments where I have issues with the audio, and it again, it feels like I'm trying to start drama. Like, oh, Mick left, and now look at the audio. Like,
I think that's a legitimate critique. Because
Yeah.
I also was missing some of those needle drop moments that you've had out of previous Dooms, where I can call out names of songs, right? BFG Division from Doom 2016 is one that I still have on repeat at times, and I don't think I had any moment of that from Doom: The Dark Ages. In fact, like, probably about halfway through or so, I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna put on my own music. Like, I'm gonna rock out to my own stuff while playing this game.
Yeah, I recommend people, unless patches go through or anything like that, who knows what the day one patches could be. Because I got to assume that they have to be aware that it isn't as good as it can be. So I would recommend 100% volume on the music and maybe like 75 or 80 on the sound effects.
I even did that, and I just didn't feel like the music was loud enough. Like, and I thought it was like a revisionist history thing, right? Because like we think about the music so heavily with Doom. So I
Yeah.
went back and I played Doom Eternal. I'm like, no, this is way better. Like the mixing in that game is substantially better than in Doom: The Dark Ages. So I couldn't find a good middle ground. I played with really nice headphones. I played on my TV. I switched my settings, and I couldn't figure it out. Yeah, I also don't think the music is totally fine.
Yeah.
But I don't think it has like that replayability, as Blessing's saying. Like I will never listen to this on Spotify when it comes out, and that sucks.
I think it could have been. I still think the music is awesome though. It's very metal.
Yeah.
It's different tempo type
No,
shit.
I liked it.
I loved it, and I think it would have been more impactful had it been implemented in a better way. Parris, you enjoyed the music. Did you feel at moments like I felt where because they hit you with sort of open roam moments, the natural sort of fading out and fading in of the music when you're starting encounters didn't feel so natural in the way that Spider-Man does it when you're about to start swinging. It felt kind of lacking for me. What are your thoughts on the audio, Parris?
Yeah, I mean, to that point, I think you're correct. I just think overall, I thought the music was fine. I guess I never looked at it from Roger's point of view. It was like, do I want to replay this on the Spotify playlist? I never thought about that, but I thought in the moment, as I'm going through the game, some of the beats really kept me engaged as I'm in these battles. But the transition from that, to quieter moments, I think you're kind of spot on about that. They could have been a little better. And it is funny that you say as far as the audio mix goes, because I played with these exact headphones on, and I'm like, do I have this pitch too high? It's like, what, so I was kind of messing with that a little bit as well. So maybe to your point, after there might be a day one patch or something that might come out later that addresses some of that. But I think people should go in expecting for the audio mix to be a little pitchy, in my opinion.
I thought the same thing when I did the preview. Whenever you see a bunch of enemies out in the distance, and a cool mechanic in this game is obviously you have your sick ass shield, and we'll get into all the mechanics here in a bit.
We gotta
but
talk about the shield.
when you
dude, I'm so
when you
excited.
shoot an enemy shield with bullet projectiles, and eventually with laser guns, it happens too. It just happens faster with bullet projectiles. You'll see the shield start to heat up, turn a really bright yellow color. You throw your shield, boom, it pops, it breaks everybody else's shield, and you get a lot of armor coming to you. And I wish I could just take the armor sound and lower that down a bit.
Dude, honestly,
because
yes.
it hits you in chunks like,
I think it's a console specific issue because if you play on console by default, it comes out of the controller. So
because I played with my Pulse headphones, so it wasn't coming out of my controller. It was coming out of my headphones, and that shit sounded ugly.
Yeah,
It's
so
loud,
they need to figure out a slider there because when I turn it on for the controller, I was like, wow, this is loud as fuck. I need to put on my headphones.
I thought those sound effects were a bit overwhelming at moments, and I hope that they can figure out a better mix because there's a lot of awesome accessibility issues or accessibility settings with gameplay and visuals and all sorts of things like that. And I would love for the audio to have as customizable options as you can.
And one more talking about it, right? Like this might be a very specific my setup kind of thing, but I was playing on PS5 with my Pulse headphones, and when I tell you the intro sound stuff for the game, like when you first boot up the game, sounds so crunchy in that way. And I don't know if that's a patch. I don't know if that's you just can't listen to it at the volume level that I'm at, but I could see a lot of this stuff maybe getting fixed in post.
Yeah, I really, really hope so. So that's my biggest issue with this game is the audio, and that's a bummer because it's so important to the Doom experience. Having that cutscene start with a dun 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 dun, and also anybody y'all think that the intro music kind of did you get the Cyberpunk 2077 vibes? I always kept on expecting.
Welcome
to Night City.
Yeah, I always kept on waiting for that to pop in. I'd love to talk about weapons and how some of them are kind of not necessarily throwbacks, but some of them are more medieval.
Because that's gonna be a positive conversation. I feel.
Sure.
One more thing I want to talk about, which I think might be a little bit mixed to positive, is the difficulty. Because I remember
I got some.
I remember in talking about Doom Eternal during our review, one of my bigger critiques was it felt like Doom Eternal, the normal difficulty, which I believe has always hurt me plenty, was tuned on the way difficult side. And I remember getting frustrated toward the end, being like, I gotta lower this shit down. Like this game is fucking kicking my ass in the last few levels. I remember that one enemy that just wouldn't die. I forget his name, but
we were like, I need a parry for you.
Yeah. I was like, this guy's all over the place.
And they were like, we agree.
They were like, we gotta get this guy out of here.
Let's make a whole game with parries.
Doom the Dark Ages feels tuned on the opposite direction. Where for every Doom game, I always play on Hurt Me Plenty because I look at that as the default normal difficulty. I was breezing through this game. And when we talk about the new mechanics being added, right, the big new thing is the parry and the shield and stuff. When I tell you the default parry window feels so generous, and you can tweak it. They have a very specific you can go in here and make it smaller. If you play on this higher difficulty, it'll make it smaller, all that stuff. But I found that fascinating that on the default difficulty, that shit, dude, I'm parrying everything. I'm knocking everything back.
For the first time in my fucking life, I played a game on hard. and I played most of this game, I think from chapter 8 to the ending on hard, and I had a great time because of that. Because the first 8 chapters I played on regular, and I was just, man, this is way too easy. I actually went in there and I made the parry window to the smallest possible, and I still felt it was too easy.
Really?
I think there is some patch. They even patched the version that we were playing with because there was some issues with the parry window. Even after that patch, I still felt it was too easy. So I think there's going to be some, especially with the audio mixing with this, that they're going to start tweaking afterwards to make it right. But the parry window just never felt perfect. Here's the issue. I just finished Expedition, right? So Expedition has such a perfect parry window that I'm like, maybe it's just that. I don't know.
I also think it's the fact that it's a first-person shooter that they're trying to do a parry with, and I think that it was them figuring it out a bit. I think overall it's a success in the game. I grew to really like the parry, especially with how they do it with the different types of projectiles, where whenever you see a green projectile or a green melee move from an enemy, those are the ones that you can parry. I think it felt additive to the experience, but it never felt tuned to when you're playing a third-person action game and the parries feel perfect.
I think a lot of that has to do with first person, the perspective of you not exactly knowing. In a third-person game, you know where that swing is about to hit you. First person might throw off your viewpoint a little bit.
Your viewpoint for sure.
Parris, what were your thoughts on the difficulty?
Yeah, I definitely want to jump in on that because I like I said before, I left it all default. I didn't change anything. So I essentially played it on the normal difficulty that they wanted you to play on. And to your point, Roger, it was extremely easy until about chapter 12.
Yeah.
I felt that it got a little more challenging at that point. And then when you get to the end, I reflecting and going, man, I should have played this on hard. So to that point, I do want to go back and start it from the beginning and play it on a harder difficulty. And I am with the pairing, I didn't tweak any of that. I wanted to play it just as it was. That patch did come in. I didn't think it really did anything beyond what I was already doing. Yeah. So that would be a suggestion I would have for anyone that is a veteran to first person shooters. Don't play it on the default difficulty. Ramp it up if you want more of a challenge, because you essentially will breeze through about, I don't know, probably 3/4 of this game on that difficulty.
Dude, I breezed through the entire game, honestly.
Yeah, and it won't even be like more of a challenge. I think you'll have a lot more fun, honestly, because then you'll be able to experiment with all the weapons. Because at least for me, those first 8 chapters, I was just using one gun, and I could have just finished the entire game with that one gun. That's how easy. I was using the plasma rifle the entire time.
I mean, there's a lot to talk about in here, because we can get into the nitty gritty of the combat now, where
the weapons are fantastic.
The weapons are fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Real quick, I just want to say I played on Nightmare difficulty, which is it seems like there's 7 difficulties or 8. I don't know how many.
Yeah,
difficulties
it's crazy.
I'm on because there's Aspiring Slayer, there's Hurt Me Plenty, there's Ultra Violence, and then there's Nightmare. I've been playing on Nightmare, and it's really challenging, and it gets and I've been dying a decent amount. I've been using my life relics, which is like your kind of immediate resurrection power, which is awesome. Not a power, just kind of asks you if you want to use them or whatever. But it is a great amount of challenge, and I turned it down to Ultra Violence because I was like, oh, I want to try to beat it before the review. And there's a lot of moments where I'm right there close to beating a massive boss, and you kind of do the gamer lean, and you kind of get up close. You're like, I'm gonna fucking get your ass. I think it's an amazing amount of fun difficulty as opposed to a frustrating type of difficulty.
I will say I still had plenty of fun playing it on the default difficulty, because it was kind of that turned my brain off. I am taking down everything, and this time around on default difficulty, they're very generous with resources. I remember in previous Doom games running out of ammo and being down to my last couple of guns and being like, all right, I have to use this thing right here, to the point of Roger talking about using one gun for most of it. In this time around, I'm late game. I'm just going back and forth between two guns. I got what's the one that crushes the skulls? Is it the Ravager or whatever?
It's the Skull Crusher, but there's one really awesome thing about this game is there's a lot of weapons, and some of the weapons have 2 variants.
Yes. Yeah.
And they switch up. Either this one has less bullet spread, but it does less damage or whatever. They give you kind of 2 variations. And
don't forget the upgrades.
What's up?
Don't forget
and you can upgrade.
Yes.
And you can upgrade the weapons and the shield and all in the melee as well.
Upgrading the weapons is fantastic. And I've been using the upgraded version of the Skull Crusher that you were talking about, Blessing, because it's a bit of a tighter shot window. It isn't as spread out,
Yeah, so for me, it was that and the super shotgun. And then occasionally I would switch to other weapons just to have some fun. Or I added one upgrade to the rocket launcher that gave it a certain benefit, and I wanted to try that out. But for the most part, I'm sticking to those 2 weapons, and super shotgun for Doom is such a classic.
Sure.
It's my reliable kind of thing. And
Did you upgrade it to the faster shots?
Oh, of course. I upgraded that thing all the way as soon as I could. But I'm doing that. I'm the melee this time around is what gets you ammo from enemies, and it's way more generous than in previous games or chainsawing. But you can chainsaw once, and it's a limited resource, and so you have to pick and choose when you do that. Here you have 3 melee, well, depending on the melee weapon that you have a certain amount of melees that you can do, but that replenishes fairly generously.
Depending on which one you use.
And I was getting ammo back. I had a rotation of shotgun in the face, melee you, one more shotgun, end you with a glory kill.
And then shield bash.
And then shield bash.
God damn.
And then throw my shield at you, that thing gets stuck in you and fucking starts spitting in your chest.
We gotta talk about the shield. Because to me, this is if Mario Odyssey, that was my first 3D Mario game that I really got into and I loved. And I fell in love with Cappy. I love Cappy so much. It's my favorite game mechanic. I go back and I'm like, fuck, I wish I had Cappy. That's what I feel like is going to happen with Doom. If we take away the shield, I'm going to be fucking pissed because I can't play Doom without this shield. I played a little bit of Doom Eternal after I finished this game, and I was like, man, I just need the shield. Because it changes the way you play this entire game. As Blessing alluded to, you can take the shield, you can throw it at an enemy, and it stuns them for a very generous amount of time. So then you can focus in on that. Now you don't have a shield, so now you're vulnerable to a lot of things, but you can go around, you can end that enemy, you can really do a lot of great strategic stuff with it, and it's just fucking badass, dude. It's so cool.
Honestly,
it's the Captain America fantasy.
Yes. Yep. I was gonna say shout out to roguelites for I think helping out with a lot of not helping out, but just I think getting game developers and creatives more creative with how abilities can upgrade and how things can get better and continue to progress. Because I loved so much the weapons that I mained were, I'm kind of using a lot, but for a while I was like super shoddy all the way, of course, for close range type shit. But then I ended up using the normal shotgun again because I upgraded it to have the 3-round
Yes.
and then it lights people on fire while it's doing that. And then the second upgrade for the plasma laser weapon or whatever. The first one you get a weaker but a much faster shooting type of Uzi, just very, very, very fast rapid fire thing. But then you get an upgrade that's a bit more of a medium range. It shoots a little bit slower. But upgrading that one and the lightning or the electricity sort of stunning enemies and then chain lightning to other people was such a freaking blast.
Dude, will chain lightning ever get old?
No,
Chain
never.
lightning is
Never.
always so
Cool.
fucking
It's the
good.
coolest
It's always
video
the
game.
best thing in a game,
Yeah,
man.
When you think about it, this game has all the coolest shit in the world. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it has chain lightning, it has a shield, it has parrying. Like, this is just the coolest game ever.
Dude, and then the standard like assault rifle, just the spike sort of shot thing was just so fun, the way it feels. So one thing I loved was whenever there's a large enemy, and kind of, I think this game is just like a beautiful symphony of violence because there's so many things you could do together to just have fun. And
That's a back of the box quote right there.
I would,
Yes, it is.
I would throw my shield at one of the large enemies, and the shield, when it's embedded in an enemy, like Roger was mentioning earlier, they get stunned and they kind of like wait there, right? But then I upgraded my AR. I call it the AR, but I upgraded the AR to then when I'm shooting the enemy, it spreads bullets to other enemies around it. And so other enemies are getting hit by the bullets that are also hurting the main dude. And then you could obviously recall the shield bash. The other weapon I was using quite a bit was the medium skull crusher one, which I was mentioning earlier. That's another like absolute fun weapon that I had a lot of fun with, especially with the larger enemies. When there's so much real estate to hit these enemies in, and these crush projectiles, you see them kind of perfectly covering the size of the enemy, and it's just shredding them down. You're seeing the body parts disfigure. It's amazing.
I love the upgrade on that one because you can upgrade it so once you're at full, like, because it ramps up like a turret, right? So once you get to that full ramp up, then you do extra damage, and with then getting the glory kill, then you just get unlimited ammo pretty much, and you're just going, and you just constantly have that right trigger going. It is so cool once you can figure out that type of gameplay.
The upgrade I wanted to mention was on the second plasma gun that I really loved. That
was my main.
The slower one. Yeah, I love that weapon because of the stunning, because of everything. But then I think one of the highest upgrades you get on it, and you find these upgrades either through finding money throughout the world or secret areas where you get these rubies. The ruby is size of a tangerine. I have to say that every time. Every time I get a ruby.
Where's that from?
Michael
what is
Caine.
that? But like, what movie?
Fucking Dark Knight.
Oh.
He found a ruby the size of a tangerine.
Yeah.
Come on, fucking Jesus.
You don't know. He just saying, yeah.
I mean, I love The Dark Knight. where was the ruby in that movie?
Where you find the ruby?
I saw that too. I saw that moment of him being like, yeah. Like, I don't want.
I trust him. You know, he's not gonna lie to me. He's not gonna lie.
It was the monologue about the crazy. What was it?
The little kid, the
the
village.
guy that burned down the whole village or whatever.
He's talking the little Joker analogy.
again.
Little Joker. He did
It's
it
not the
again.
actual ruby in the movie.
He did it again. Yeah, there was
Are
never
you sure
a
that was
ruby.
Dark Knight? Was that not right? Was that Rises?
It was Dark Knight.
It
Yeah,
was Dark Knight. He was talking about the
burned
Joker
down the-
He's
essentially.
talking about the Joker. How like this one guy was stealing. He was stealing from everybody, and never to use it just because of chaos. And he was just like,
Some people want to watch the world burn.
Yeah. Some
Okay, I
people
remember that one.
just
Yeah, I
wanna
remember
watch-
that.
Yeah, okay.
Just want to watch the world burn. So I upgraded that one all the way, and as you're shooting people, it shoots faster, gets stronger, and then it starts dropping health.
Oh yes.
And it was called like the vampiric whatever, and that's just like I love vampiric type shit in games whenever you're leeching life off of people. So that ability felt so much freaking fun. Parris, what were the weapons that you felt yourself kind of?
I was leaning towards the plasma like you were, but I love the super shotgun and I love the shredder. Those were probably my go-tos
He just
that
like
I
you
was
for real.
constantly going to. Yeah.
Was the shredder's the AR, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. And then, actually, I think that's exactly what you talked about as far as the upgrade, because you have that upgrade where it will spread out the bullets to other ones. And then the plasma had one where it took, I think that was, it was a plasma where it would take out everyone's shield immediately.
Yes.
When you hit an enemy. Yeah. So I freaking loved it. Absolutely loved it. Also,
the shield has its own upgrade path that you kind of unlock later on, and really cool stuff there that I'm not sure what. I'd love to find out what the numbers are, the numbers differences as far as what damage they do to actual things, and what the best min max is or whatever. But I kind of just went for whatever shield upgrade I thought looked the coolest.
Same. Yeah.
And one of them that you eventually unlock if you parry a projectile, your little shoulder turret pops up and just starts shooting.
Oh, I didn't like that one. Just because I felt like it was just like tickling them. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't feel like I was doing anything.
Well,
I was like, I'm not doing this one.
And that's not the one I used. I used the one with like the spirit birds or whatever the fuck. Yeah,
They're
like
so
these
cool.
magical sort of things. Parris, how did you upgrade your shield?
what did I do exactly?
Because one of them, when you parry, you kind of set a trail of fire on the ground.
Those are all the runes that you apply.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Shit, I don't remember.
Oh my god,
I don't remember.
He was just so into it.
I don't remember.
He played Eternal.
Because I was because part of because part of with the upgrades I kept putting into the weapons.
Yeah.
More so than the shield. I was trying to think. I did it twice with the shield. Shit, I can't remember. Well, can I fire it up right now and tell you?
Fire it up.
Well, we should talk about the upgrades in terms of how it is presented to you, right? In Eternal, you're just kind of finding these things and you can upgrade a certain weapon. In this one, it is based on exploring the levels and finding coins, finding rubies, finding, what was it, the other one? The weird purple crystal sapphire.
Wrath.
Something
a
cool.
Wrath gem or something like that.
So and they have like so gold you can find anywhere, and then the rubies and then the Wrath gem that is based on finding puzzles.
A lot more secretive
more secretive stuff. I was negative on that at first because I was like, I just want to fucking upgrade my gun. I want to fucking go from here to here. I don't want to have to do this. But then I opened up the map and I was like, oh, they just show me where all this is, which I did not. I told Blessing about that. He's like, there's a map?
It's kind of weird.
Because I've never opened a map in a Doom game. I just go from one place to another, just fucking end it. But for here, I was 100%ing levels. Like I was actually going in there. Actually, no, 98%ing levels because I would always forget one fucking gold piece and they would count that towards that. Whatever. Bullshit.
The map way more improved this time around.
Way more improved. Yeah.
It's not just really hard to look at hologram thing where you're like, what floor am I on? Like, in a, I forget if it was Eternal or the first or Doom 2016 that used that sort of hologram look, which aesthetically looked awesome. But it was really hard to tell what, like the maps would, the floors would be kind of overlaid on each other, and it was really kind of hard to grasp what the hell was going on. But they made it a bit easier with kind of opaque floors and letting you know.
I did think it was flat level design this time around.
Well, yeah, because there's no verticality.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I did think it was kind of weird though that they showed you where the secrets were.
Yes,
I don't love that.
It's a little weird, but for me, I was cool with it because then it allows me to upgrade everything and go in there and actually find a lot of secrets that I wouldn't have found otherwise. And really cool stuff, like really cool secrets here, really cool level design, especially towards the ending of the game when there's this one, which I'm not gonna spoil where it is or how it happens, but there's this one where it's like, because usually you go to find a secret level and it's just one ruby or whatever, right? There's this one that kind of follows the entire map and it's like 4 to 5 different secrets all in one, and it feels like a huge chunk of the game. Like it feels like it's like a main path, but it's not. It's like one long secret path. Really cool stuff the way they ramp it up.
See, the one that I liked was, and I wasn't expecting, was there was like a ruby that was behind a wall that I could see, and I just had to like go around and get it.
Yeah.
And I went around and like looked for it. I'm like, oh, where'd it go? I thought it was in this room, and I come out of this room, and then like they do like a trippy thing of, oh, you're not where you thought you were. Now it's a combat challenge where we're throwing 100 enemies at you.
And they do
awesome.
They also do a fun one where you throw a shield at certain things where like the shield, like almost like Kratos when he throws it at like the ice thing where it like locks the door. You have to throw it there and it opens up a gate, but you can't take back the shield because then it'll close the gate. So you throw it there and then you go around the corner and there's a million enemies. Now you got to fight them without the shield. I wish they did a little bit more of that because that would have been like a nice way to like actually in the main game switch it up.
Yeah.
But that like things like that add to the experience. So I'm actually very happy they did upgrades like this because this game is a very short game in the grand scheme of things, like 12 to 13 hours. I feel like you can mainline this game.
Damn, 12, 13 hours?
I feel like, and if you're playing on easy or whatever, like or
sure.
regular, I feel like you can mainline this game without doing any secrets in a very short amount of time. So forcing you to kind of go outside the boundaries and find the secrets is very important for the length of this game and really understanding the whole depth of it.
Chad, I'd love to y'all for y'all to prep your super chats while we ask Parris, what were we asking, Parris?
You're asking me about the shield. I
shield.
recorded all my gameplay, so I was like, shit, let me go back and find
That's right.
where I was actually doing an upgrade. So the last upgrade I did on the shield was the power surge, where you throw the shield and it'll cause it to bounce around and hit a bunch of different enemies. That was the last one I did. Everything else I was putting into weapons.
Captain America vibes right there.
I love, again, because of the amount of enemies they throw into a lot of the combat encounters, I love the ways in which they let you take care of a lot of them at once. Like, I mean, talking about the shield, we might have mentioned this before, but I know we mentioned the plasma thing of if you have enemies with plasma shields, there's plasma weapons that'll overload the shields and those will explode in their faces. They also, for the metal shields, if you do enough damage to them, they'll then blink red. And if you throw your shield at them, like, fucking explodes everybody
That's
around
where you
them.
get the loud ass armor.
Yeah. And that was always satisfying to me.
Always great. Also the shield bash, which is if you're playing on PC, if you're blocking with your right click, then you left click and you just auto zip
You, like,
towards
dash to people.
somebody, and then that
Mhm.
causes a massive sort of big sort of area of effect blast, killing a lot of the fodder enemies, and those are essentially your reloads to get more armor, more ammo, more health.
And I there are times while playing this game that I missed the dash, like the air dash from Doom Eternal, except for when I was reminded that I could do that. The shield bash kind of functions as that a little
Sure.
bit.
Yeah.
Like if you just see an enemy from far away and you want to get to them fast, like it works from quite a bit of distance of L2 to lock onto them, R2, and then you shield bash right towards them. I thought that was a really great mechanic.
I do wish there was some sort of just dodge.
Especially with the parries. Like,
Yes.
I need a little, because like there's some moments where you're doing one parry and then the other parry's over there and you have to kind of run to it, and it just, I want just a little bit of a side dash.
It
Just
felt
a
like
little
I'm
bit,
kind
a
of
little bit.
with how some of the projectiles work. Enemies will shoot out, 3 red blasts with 1 green in the middle, right? But
Yeah, and then you
sometimes,
got to parry it back.
but sometimes they are connected by a red gate of damage that will hurt you if you hit it. So you can't just stand in between these shots.
Yeah.
So sometimes the green one will be on the very far right with a big gate, and then you parry that one, and then the next wave it'll be on the far left.
Yeah.
And
It's
did
like
feel
impossible
cool.
to
It
get
did
there.
feel cool to like start to sprint to get over there, and I think the window is large enough and generous enough to
Yes.
where you can parry it. It just I would have felt mechanically cooler to be like dodge left.
And I think that's why the parry window
Now
is so
remember,
yeah.
you can dodge when you're on the dragon.
Yes.
Well, we haven't
yeah.
talked
Well,
about
we
the
got to talk
dragon.
about that. Yeah.
The dragon segments and the mech segments for me left more to be desired.
Sure.
I was
I
not looking
completely
forward to it. Yeah, whenever those segments would start, I'm like, all right, I guess I got to get in the mech. The mech felt like I was like playing. I want to say it felt like playing Punch Out, even though mechanically it's not, right? Like it just felt like I was this heavy. All right, R2, dodge. R2. All right, now he's down. Now on to the next one, kind of thing.
It is a very overly simplistic game design, right? Especially with the dragon and the mech, and it's very weird because they're trying to break up the gameplay, right? They don't want it to be boring, but I want all Doom stuff. Like I just want to play as the Doom Slayer, the Doom guy running around shooting things, because there is so much depth to that gameplay. And then when you take me out of it and you're like, okay, here's a cool moment where you're in a mech. Okay, that's awesome. But then the gameplay is literally just right trigger,
Yeah.
dodge. It really stands out in comparison to the main game, which has so much depth, has so much fun there when you're just doing the most baseline stuff. But I will say there's not much of it though.
Yeah.
There's not much of it in this game.
No,
and
it's not
that's where I'm at. I think that they are short segment. I think the segments are short enough to where the gameplay is kind of basic, but for me it's more of the scale of stuff that's happening. I'm kind of more into the visuals and what's being pulled off technically, because I just loved seeing the little tiny tanks down there, and then these big enemies that are being that I've seen from the ground level out fighting in the distance, which is always cool as shit. Whenever you're just kind of running through these open levels, but then you see a gigantic mech and a gigantic demon fighting each other. It's some of the coolest visuals you'll ever see.
The visuals are big.
Yeah, visually incredible. One thing I wanted to bring up, and I think it's an easy thing to miss, but once you notice it, I think you will have a really great appreciation for it. Especially if I don't know how the experience is on console, but on PC, when you're playing the game and then the cutscene happens, the tech is so the technical team they were so fucking flawless with going from shot to shot without the load in or pop in. And that almost never happens in video games. When you're watching a cutscene and Doomslayer is walking and then it cuts to somebody else yelling at him, when that cut happens, you always see hair load in or people load, like there's always some sort of visual judder that you just kind of expect from modern game engines. This shit was so flawless from shot to shot. And you could tell it was like a big point of like that they wanted to nail that shit because they really did. And I thought I was just always blown away by, man, that's so cool because you just kind of expect that with games nowadays. That cuts to the next shot and, the dress will kind of like fall down because of the physics have to load in or whatever. I was just really blown away by that shit on a technical level. I'd like to read some super chats and then we can also talk about some other stuff after that. We're running a little bit long, but we got I guess there's really only bosses and stuff. There's not a whole lot else we can really go into, but I'll read some super chats for the time being. We have a super chat from IC Wiener.
Oh.
$2 super chat.
Futurama reference.
Ask, can we get a quick SnowBikeMike review? You got the tweet it in Blue Sky.
Yeah.
If only he was streaming for 72 hours.
He did finish the game.
Shinobi 3000.
Something to point out.
Yeah, yesterday he was like, Andy, can you take the hosting spot for me tomorrow? I was like, okay. Sounds
I
good.
looked at him, I was like, Mike, you beat the game though, right?
I got to stretch.
You were the first one of us to beat the game.
Shinobi 3005 with a $2 super chat says, let idsoft take a crack at a Halo game.
Oh.
God damn.
I was thinking about this, not this specifically, but just how good Doom is from a quality perspective of just like moving around in the world and feeling like, man, there's no other shooter that's like this. Like there's something about like how grounded and how like, there's a feel to Doom that hasn't been replicated as well. And like I would be fascinated to see how they interpret Halo.
Crossover game.
Well, it's funny to bring up Halo because they've already committed to Unreal 5, but it almost seems like Halo would be great in this id Tech engine. But I guess we'll never know.
With all the physics and all the breakable things, it'd be a freaking blast. We also have a super chat from Justin Madison, who says idsoft should work with Meshuggah on music and audio. Meshuggah's a metal band.
Cool.
I thought the music was again awesome. It just wasn't implemented in a way that made it super memorable for me.
Sure, yeah. That's fair.
Cody Bishop with a $2 super chat says, Quake next, time for action space sci-fi.
Oof.
That was another thing I was thinking about. Is like, what is the feature for id Software? Do you get another Doom? I think they've done a good job of like doing those incremental. All right, this is what we're doing. This is the direction we're taking this. All right, Doom: The Dark Ages is going to be a bit more tanky and not as mobile as the previous one. I wonder if it's time for either, all right, let's take a break for one game and do a Quake or do something else or do a new IP, or if it's time to like redefine Doom. One of the conversations I was having back in the office with Mike the other day was like, could you find a new, either not genre, but I guess a new format? Like I think Roger was talking about like doing the S rank type stuff with the action, and I was talking to Mike about like, what if they went Returnal with it and like made more of a bullet hell, like roguelite style Doom thing. Obviously these are dreams and hopes. Like I don't know if they'll actually do that kind of thing, but could be an interesting.
That would be incredible.
Yeah, it could be an interesting lane.
Blessed, did you play on PS5 Pro?
No, I don't have a PS5
Okay.
Pro. I just played on base.
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
That was a question from Mark, $2 super chat. We have a $2 super chat from Demon Hacker, says, this not competing with Blueprint. It says BP. I was like, Black Panther? Blueprint.
the gas company?
Experts 33 and Death Stranding 2 for Goaty. No, but it might be a contender. It might hit my top 10. I think this year's just so strong. We'll see.
Yeah, I was thinking about this because I was talking with Danny about this yesterday. I don't this year is already so stacked with Game of the Year candidates. I don't think this would make the list, but to your point, maybe the back end of the top 10, just as a standalone campaign, shooter experience. But yeah, this is just a crazy year for Game of the Year, so it's going to be tough.
I think if they update this with some type of horde mode, because I know that they added a horde mode in Eternal. If they do that here, I could see that being a little bit higher in my top 10.
I can't read that name. I don't know what it says. But a $5 super chat says, one of the handful of people who played 2016 and Eternal on Switch, I loved it. Praying for Switch 2 port with mouse controls and gyro. Ooh. I mean, that sounds like it can happen for sure. I was always kind of shocked that Doom Dark Ages wasn't announced at the Switch 2 thing with all the other third party, the little third party, what's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah.
No, I was going to say collage.
Oh, montage.
Is it one of those ages?
Hollow Knight was there.
Hollow Knight was
You
there.
can just do anything, though.
Yeah.
The gamage.
the gamage. Demon Hacker asked how the performance was on console, and Blessing and Roger
Smooth.
said they loved it. Yeah. It was awesome.
I mean, I have to I need you to boot the game up for me on PC so I can look at how it looks on your PC, because it sounds like it might look better than it does.
Of
on
course
my
it
PS5.
does. Yeah.
I mean, of course it does.
Oh my gosh.
It looks
but,
really good.
I
I saw Mike playing it next to me. It looked really good.
I played it on. It's also funny, Parris. We were laughing earlier about the difficulty levels that they have and how there's like 7 of them and they're all kind of named weird things. The same thing for the visuals. I think high is the third of like 7 or 8 visual options. You go like low, medium, high, and then like fucking horny,
really
and I don't know what. Like it gets to like
up.
violent. It gets like violent, ultra violent. I forgot what it was, but I had my visual settings on ultraviolet. Violent. It looked freaking incredible, and I'm stoked to see how it continues to improve, because it wasn't even the most recent driver. Were you having that issue, Parris, whenever you booted up the game?
I got the latest driver from NVIDIA.
Oh my God.
Can I tell you a secret?
But it's funny, when I first started playing, I didn't have it. And then when I got the new driver, I did see it definitely helped. It definitely improved performance on there. But yeah, dude, playing that thing at 4K. I mean, I guess I can talk about this now. I was playing RTX 5090 and DLSS 4 on balance mode, I guess, but they suggest you play on performance mode. But I was still averaging like 280 to 300 frames per second.
It's ridiculous.
With everything maxed out. Yeah, it's nuts.
What's up, Les?
I mean, Kevin's out there right now working on my computer, adding in a new GPU.
Right.
I forget which one he said, but it's one of the good ones.
It's one of the good ones.
It's one of the good ones. And so, like, I don't know, my PS5 might be counting.
You didn't know how many
space.
fans your computer had.
I was like, how many
You also
fans
forgot
got
that
in
it overheated. It was incredible.
Listen, all right. I need somebody to do it for me so I can take it home. Like, I'm not full Greg Miller, but I do
Right.
have some Greg Miller genes in me when it comes to the PC.
Oh, you
shit.
definitely do. I
definitely
remember
do.
when we wanted to get you a new processor, and you're like, but like I don't lose my info if that happens, right? Like, no, it's on your hard drive.
I'm not gonna like lose everything on my computer. You know, like I got stuff on there. But
Any last thoughts on Doom: The Dark Ages?
I suggest everyone give it a shot. Check it out. Play it. I think you'll have a great time with it. Had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's an easy recommendation. What
Yeah,
about you, Raj?
easy pickup. Had a great time with it. I'm excited to see what they do post-launch, because Eternal was supported a ton after launch. I know that was the pandemic, but we got 2 pieces of DLC. We got a bunch of modes. I'm excited to see what that looks like for Doom: The Dark Ages.
they did it again. Also, I want to bring in another super chat from Rain and Bishop real quick, who says, do you miss glory kills? Do you like the new execution system? Also, what's up, Parris? Real quick, I think I do miss the glory kills. That was one of the things that when we first saw the trailers, right? It was like you kind of go in and melee them to death, as opposed to like go in, snap their neck, right? Like take their arm, fucking shame into the thing, right? Like Doom 2016, and I had to like double check this because I booted it up again. Like most of the kills, even for the fodder enemies, were like they had animations to them. And I kind of miss those animations. I kind of get why they take them out, because there's just a lot more enemies to kill this time around. I think there's a lot more going on. But
I think it would break up the combat a lot, so I don't mind them being gone. But I did like that if you jump up in the air, a different
Yes,
animation
I
will
did see
happen,
that,
and
yeah.
that is I think that was enough variety for me, because I think early on I had the same thought of like, oh man, the glory kills got really violent and kind of cool and creative. but then I think after about 4 hours, like I'm just seeing the same ones all over again. It is kind of like breaking up the momentum.
I want to
for
see
me.
a happy medium because they do have him when you are facing off against like a powered up enemy like that. Like if you kill this enemy, your maximum ammo gets increased.
Those are cool.
And usually those.
I wish those were like a nemesis system.
Yeah. Oh my god.
That's the call I kept on thinking about because they were named enemies. They were the ones on the map that. All right, this is like a special. They're called like leader enemies.
Yeah.
They're the leader of this whole crew.
Mm-hmm.
You have to kill all of the sort of mini bosses to then be able to face that leader while it's still attacking you.
Yeah.
You can attack
And
it,
also,
but,
after you kill all the mini bosses, more mini bosses spawn, and you have to kill that person. It's crazy.
and when you do that,
You like
Essen-
reach into their chest and grab their heart, and then like
Yeah.
that'll
Yeah, you
power
take it
you
out.
up.
They're looking so.
I kept on
savvy.
wanting him to eat it. I kept on wanting him to take a bite.
You're nasty.
Take a bite of
You're
the heart.
nasty.
Yeah.
But I wish there was a bit more animations. I understand why there's not an animation for every enemy because I think that does get a bit repetitive. But in booting up Doom 2016, I was surprised by how quick the glory kills are. Like it's not like they're fucking 5 seconds for each of them. Like it is go in, snap neck, go in, snap neck. Right?
Yeah.
Like they are fairly quick. I would have liked to see just a little bit more.
I have another super chat from Ghostly Icon who says, Xcast, baby. Off topic, they should really remake Skyrim and release it a year before Elder Scrolls 6.
Oh, shit.
And no, Andy, I'm not doing mobs. I have no time for that bullshit. I need a real release. Mobs?
Yeah, Andy.
What do you mean mobs?
Stop talking shit about the mobs.
Yeah, Mafia the old country.
Mods, maybe?
Oh.
Like, to mod Skyrim, maybe? Because they spelled it M-O-B-S.
No, we know they're after you. we know you pissed off.
I mean, I know what you mean. Yeah, mods can be a pain in the ass. Whenever I see
And
Skyrim
mobs.
looking amazing, they're like, we have 4,000 mods in here. I'm like, ugh, no thank you. Yeah, my final thoughts are the game is easy recommendation. So much freaking fun.
Yeah.
Go, I mean, get Game Pass, obviously. Massive.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit.
Man.
That's insane.
What a year.
Yeah, it's insane.
And I just also wanted to shout out the art team because every detail and corner of this world is just so perfectly art directed. There's so many little things that you will see for 2 seconds. It reminds me of like watching a Studio Ghibli movie.
Yeah.
Where the most insane painting you've seen is on the screen for 2 seconds and it's gone forever after that. And there's so many awesome props and like not, I guess, art designed, but also for like level design purposes. There's a really awesome moment where you're in your big Atlan mech and the mech puts his hand on a cliff and suddenly you're out of the mech as the Doom guy again, and you're running on the arm, and it's just like, God, this shit looks so fucking good. The art team just really, really popped off. And yeah, I think this game rocks. Play it if you have time. Play it if you have money. Play it if you have Game Pass. Easy recommendation.
Hell yeah.
Everybody, thank you for joining me on this episode of the Gamecast. Parris, where can people find you?
You can find me at Gamertag Radio. You can find me every now and again here, Reddit Kind of Funny. And you can find me on my YouTube channel. Don't ask me the URL because I never remember. It's my name. Just look up my name.
Just look it up. You'll find it. Remember, we talk about the biggest reviews, previews, and topics of video games live on YouTube, Twitch, and podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, please support us with the Kind of Funny membership on Patreon or YouTube to get all of our shows ad-free, watch us record them live, and get a daily exclusive show. You can catch the Gamescast after this, which is another awesome deep dive into the Elder Scrolls Online, talking about the stuff that they cut from the game, which is going to be super interesting. And then after that, the big Death Stranding stream, where SnowBikeMike and Roger
Screencast.
Screencast after that?
Yeah. Yeah. Andor.
Andor? Oh
Yeah.
my. Barrett was talking to me about Andor last night. Dude, I have no time for this show that I really, really want to watch.
Yeah.
Can't
3
wait for that.
episodes.
Should I marathon it?
Dude!
I mean, now that I'm done with Doom the Dark Ages.
Oh!
Because I was gonna finish Expedition
You're like-
33.
Oh, you should finish. Oh, God, there's too many good things.
There's a glut of good content out there right now.
We are.
Can I make an admission before we leave? I'll say this publicly.
Oh, no.
I've not played Expedition 33.
Oh no!
End the podcast.
End it.
I beat it last time for the second time. I was like, God, this might be a 10. Actually, I was probably wrong.
shit.
Wow. What'd you give it?
It is
I give it a 9.
insane
Wow,
to
it's fucked up.
everyone is universally loving this game, and I've not played it yet, so I got to find time.
Thank you so much for watching, everybody. We love you all. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other, and we'll see you on the next Gamescast. And then again, big Death Stranding stream today, where SnowBikeMike will be on a marathon, walking for however long it
72
takes.
hours, hopefully.
72 hours, hopefully. We'll see you next time, gamers. Goodbye.